Hello everybody and welcome. We are here with the Skip Barbers around the wonderful Mid-Ohio circuit. As we are just in the qualifying session, about 6.5 minutes remain. Currently Dino Pallini is at the top of the timing chart, as I am just about to get my live timing open so I can have a little bit of a look at where everyone is themselves. I think that tonight's going to be an interesting event. Over 20 cars, just over 20 cars taking part in the race, and it's going to be interesting because these cars certainly aren't the easiest vehicles in the world to drive. Probably one of the hardest, in fact, to drive, because they do want to kick around a lot at the rear end, and you'll see. Well, you might have been seeing at the start of the stream here that rear end, it really does like to slide its way definitely through that chicane that we've got our camera so duly focused on right now. As just gonna see who's out on circuit. We're currently looking at William Horak. He is on a time lap, I believe. He's in the first sector, about 40 seconds at the moment. Got all my live timing up to see William Horak only sitting in 13th position. He's about 4.5 seconds off of Dino Pallini. He's leading the session at the moment. He's only about 0.2 off of Stephen Gibbs, who's just up the way. So it's quite close at the moment, and all the drivers will be looking to get a decent qualifying because we have 2 races tonight, and this qualifying session will be deciding the order for both of those races. And just go have a look further up the field, see if we can get a lap on board our current session leader. And this is Dino Pallini coming out of the first couple of corners, going through the chicane now and up towards the hairpin. Keeping it nice and smooth, nice and tight, all the way to the apex. Current fastest lap of a 1:35.690. He heads out of the first sector and down towards sector number 2. When I was driving these cars around, this is actually the most difficult sector of them all. You've got to brake it, hits the brakes at that number 2 board on the left hand side. Wobbles the car slightly, gets it up now over the crest, keeping the car as smooth as possible down the crest through the right-hander. Very nice as he's got a car sliding away in front of him. Hopefully it won't distract him too much. He's going to pull off the accelerator. He's not going to continue on to push this lap. But through the right-hander, got another crest. And just see how easy it is to lose the rear end of the car there. So now coming up towards the final sector. And through sector number 3. Don't know whether this will be an improvement over Pallini's time. Coming up to the final corner now. That penultimate corner really deceiving as it gets a lot tighter near the exit of, near the end of the corner. And a lot of drivers have found themselves in pit lane because they just haven't realised that it tightens up by the end of the corner. This is Steve Legale, currently sitting in 3rd position. Now, I have mentioned that Steve Legale in previous events, he's getting a lot faster, and I'm not trying to be mean to him saying that he's not a fast driver. He never was a fast driver. It's not what I am trying to say. What I'm trying to say, though, is he is really starting to become even faster than he was before and really consistent. Just not down to 4th, though, because Dan Long has just put in the 2nd fastest lap time. But Steve Legale at the moment is 1.4 seconds off of Pallini's time. He's only about 0.03 of a second from Joachim Stesnade. Now, Steve Legale and Stesnade, they know each other quite well. They were part of the TXL racing team in the race department Le Mans series. They were teammates. They've been teammates, or they were teammates at Le Mans. Steve Legale not actually racing, but he was a race engineer. But he's doing really well. Jack and Cessna, though, he's sitting in 5th position at the moment. He'll be looking to get past. Bearing in mind, he does only need 0.03 of a second improvement on his current lap time to be able to do that. Sector 1 was his fastest. It was a 43.262. Sector 2 also, again, actually, his fastest as well. So he is picking up pace, and this very possibly could be up the position past Steve Legale now, coming up through penultimate corner again. It gets a lot tighter on the exit. He kicks the car to the middle of the circuit before getting it tucked in deep through the final corner. Across the line though, and it is going to be an improvement, a very nice improvement at that. It's about a 0.2 of a second improvement. Moves up to a 3rd position at 136.687. He's about 0.996 off of Paralines. He's only just within a second of our pole sitter. Now, tonight's event, it's not about winning. None of our club events are about winning. It's all about enjoyment, and it's all about just having fun and soaking up some of the atmosphere within TeamSpeak. And there's a number of drivers in TeamSpeak, and their setups being shared. It's a very relaxed event, and if you want to get involved with these relaxed events yet at the same time have a lot of fun racing, be sure to head over to racedepartment.com, become a premium member today. It's only €10 for the entire year, which is absolutely nothing, because you get to do daily club events, you get to do our league events when they all come around. So it's amazing. It's amazing to get involved in, and it's so totally worth just €10. It's absolutely nothing if you think about it for what you're going to be getting. It's absolutely fantastic racing as well, and a lot of personalities. I've made a countless number of friends on Race Department now, because there's just so many different personalities. Checkered flag though is out. The session is over. That top bar has unfortunately stopped working for you. I'm just going to refresh that. Seems like all of the bars have stopped working, unfortunately, but I will try to refresh it and get it working for you once more. There we go. It looks like it's all working again. Sometimes it doesn't always work because it's all done on the internet and not via the game, because we are running on DX11, if you could not tell. That's why it looks so beautiful. That is also why we don't have our normal rFactor 2 overlay that we run in all of our league events, but instead we are stuck with this overlay, which still does the job rather well. We've just got a few drivers still heading around the circuit, currently looking at Daston Farrokhzad, one of our new drivers of the evening, and multiple new drivers actually. Dino Parolini, our pole sitter. I don't think I've actually raced against Dino before. Dan Long, 2nd position, is obviously a very well-known member. Jackson says in 3rd position. Amadeo Ferrella qualified in 4th. Steve Legale qualifying in 5th in the end, which is still absolutely fantastic ahead of Tom Watts, Bart Zweering, Ollie McGowan, Daston Farrokhzad, and Matt Beavis. Horbelt is in 11th position. He's followed by Stephen Gibb, Willem Horak, Jesus Montesinos, another new driver from what I'm looking at there. Martin Fiala, Sergio Santis, Thomas Smith, also a new driver for me, at least in these rFactor 2 events. Nicholas Gregory, Juan Barcelli, also another new driver. Tobias Rona, really far down the order there, actually. I don't think he was attempting a lap time. He was about 11.3 seconds off of Dino's time, so I don't think he was really trying there. Liam Lagan, a new driver, 21st position. This is the first race he's ever doing in rFactor 2, as we're in a warm-up session now. No one's really coming out. Nope, so we will put on our auto cameras there. Yeah, so Liam Lagan's first race in rFactor 2, he actually bought it yesterday, so he's going to be looking forward to that. And at the very rear of the field, not actually putting in a lap time, Ryan Seltzer. Now, you may recognise that name. It's been all over the front pages of Race Department. It's also been on all of our social media sites. Ryan Seltzer won the RDGPC this weekend. He beat Charles Baccio by just 2 points, which is so crazy close. That really, it's unbelievable that he was able to win it by such a close margin. As we're currently watching Tom Watts head around the circuit in his number 22. skip Barber car there. Oh, there's a spin just up ahead, but Watts has been able to avoid it, and another exo car, and he's going to go around the outside. This is good training, though. We got a 5-minute warm-up then session here. We then have a 20-minute race where drivers will be going to the limits, trying to move up the order and gain a few positions. We'll then be going into the second warm-up session where everyone will be replaced into their original qualifying order. And then we'll have a second 20-minute race on our hands. So we've got 40 minutes of racing in front of us total. We've still got about 50 more minutes to go in this wonderful event for us, because we're just ticking through the first of the 2 warm-up sessions now. Following, we got our first race following this warm-up session. All our drivers will be heading out. We have 22 drivers going to be going down onto the grid today. As Tom just getting his car around the circuit. Must say, looking very, very nice indeed. The X11. Normally I do run rFactor 2 streams with a little bit of a colour change as well, colour correction on the actual game source, but bearing in mind this is just for a club event, it means that I haven't actually changed anything with the game recording source itself. So it's all what I am looking at, as someone else just joins the server there. That was Jesus Monteseus, it looks like, has joined the server. He's appeared at the bottom of your standings. However, on my standings, he is still in his qualifying order. I'm just going to restart mine now. It looks like I cannot actually do them on both, which is a real shame. So I will have to deal with what we've got as I just quickly reload these. There we go. As we are got about 2 minutes left to go of the warm-up session. Then we'll have a 20-minute race. We'll get about maybe 15 or 16 laps in. And this really, these cars and this track combined, it feels a lot like a go-karting sort of track. And a go-karting car, it just feels so I don't know how to put it, but when I was driving around, I definitely felt like I was in a little sort of go-kart, just dashing around the circuit, and from one side to the other, trying to figure out all the racing lines. And the fact that it isn't go to the outside, go to the inside, go to the outside, which most circuits are because of their corner layout, this layout is so different, because you're having to run really tight lines. You're starting the corner on the inside, or midway through the corner you're on the outside, and it's just sort of, it's an entirely different sort of concept to learn your racing line with, because this is the usual corner layout there. Outside to the inside, taking the inside. But here, watch this. Tom Watts keeping it really, really tight. He doesn't swing it back to the outside again. Unlike that car we just saw shoot past the camera. He really wanted the outside line there. Tom Watts, here he goes. He's going to sit on the outside. Now, it just shows that you're not going to be swooping around as much as you do elsewhere. It's an entirely different concept of racing, and that's why I absolutely love this circuit. Here comes Watts, so he's going to come in, and look at this, outside to the inside. Now he's already on the outside. He's going to sit in the middle of the circuit. Look how tight that line is going into the corner. Runs it to the outside, wobbles it a little bit, and he's going to lose it, but will he hold it? He just holds it, cuts the corner a little bit. But it just, looking at that, it just shows that the driving style that you have to have is completely different here. Not just these cars, but I mean this actual circuit. It's just so different, and I think it's going to create some really interesting racing tonight. So 2 20-minute races await us. The session has just ticked to a close. The checkered flag is out, and we'll be getting into the first of our 2 races this evening, as we were just about to be going over and getting started. Now, I don't know whether my auto camera plugin is on or not, so at some point we may just start be watching random people, and I don't know who we're watching, so we will hope that everything's working fine, as everyone seems like they're in the grid. So we have 30 seconds for drivers to get onto the circuit. And then we will be getting going for the starts of our races this evening. I just want to test to make sure my auto plug-in camera plug-in is working. It seems like it is. I'm not too sure though. It's not really displaying anything. Let's go back live and find our race leader. He's our race leader. Awesome. The lights are up. And we are about to get going. Dino Parolini going from pole. He doesn't get a good start, but what a start from just behind. Joachim Stesmade from 4th position. What a start there. Sorry, from 3rd position. And there's already chaos in the back. Cars not getting started has caused about 4 or 5 cars into the gravel. However, it looks like we're going about 3 wide heading up towards the chicane. Look at just a swarm of cars. They all seem to have settled into a single file line heading through as there's a spin up ahead. 2 cars around. Tom Watts, Emilio Fiorella, both around, and they're going to allow everyone else through before getting their cars back straight. Stephen Gibb running slightly wide now, and he's actually got William Horak up his inside. This is for bottom of a top 10 position as they come out of the first sector now on the opening lap. The leading 15, it looks like that's how many cars are here. It seems like they've got away rather cleanly. Bart Zweering having to hold the outside line of Steve Legale there. Matt Beavis is got past Tobias Rona. It looks like actually Rona was trying to get past him, so it looks like he's been able to hold. Beavis going really defensive there. And Rona all over the rear, trying to find a way through. This is for your 7th position in your race. See someone backwards coming out of that chicane behind, and that is a really difficult corner. Like I was saying during practice, it's so easy to lose it over that crest. Tobias Rona, though, all over the rear of Matt Beavis, just up ahead. He's coming up to the penultimate corner. He's going to have to stick it in behind for now. Further down your order, it looks like most drivers have now sorted it out. William Horak and Amadeo Furella side by side, heading up to your 3rd to last corner here. Looks like Fiorella's going to try his hardest to hold it around the outside. He's able to do it. Horak just dropping down a little bit. Just moved that further down your order. It looks like we are all clean and everyone is continuing to run. Matt Beavis running slightly wide out of turn 1 though. We saw the grass being kicked up. Currently holding in on 7th position. He is behind Steve Legale, ahead of Tobias Rona. As it looks like just up ahead actually, Joachim Stesnade is in our race lead. Dan Long in 2nd and Dino Parolini in 3rd. So Dino had like we said there, he had a really poor start. And that is your order of your top 3 at the moment. This is the battle that we're watching at the moment. 4-way battle for P number 4. Ollie McGowan leads Bart Zweering. Zweering leads Steve Legale, who leads... Sorry, that's a 5-way battle, really. But Ollie McGowan not too involved. So really, it's Bart Zweering leading Legale, Beavis, and Rona. They're going for 6th. But Ollie McGowan very much could be a part of that. As we look here, he's not too far ahead. There's a big slide there from Dan Long onto the grass. And now he is down to P number 4. Here comes Bart Zweering. Will he be able to get involved, take advantage of that? Doesn't look like it. Dan Long starting in just behind Ollie McGowan. McGowan up to P number 3 now. Onto that bottom step of the podium, but he runs wide, and here comes Dan Long. Tries for the inside, but on such a difficult corner, he's not going to be able to do it. He tries, he hold it on the outside. He's actually been able to keep his car there. Dan Long, Ollie McGowan, they're side by side heading up to turn 1. Will Long be able to hold it on the outside of McGowan? No, he can't. Ollie gets it through, keeps the position in P number 3 at the moment. A little bit of a wobble when we see a car off. That's Matt Beavis. Matt Beavis has gone off. So he's now down the position. Tobias Rona up to 7th. Beavis down at 8th. This is now a 5-car battle. If Beavis is sort of still involved in it, he slightly is. It's technically a 6-car battle if Beavis can get back involved. Ollie McGowan, though, trying his hardest to stay ahead of this train of cars that's directly behind him. Dan Long will be looking to gain back through after his mistake last lap. He's already up the inside. It looks like he's already going to be able to make the move under braking. Big lockup for Dan Long, and he's going to overshoot it. Dan Long and a big hit into the barriers. A huge hit for Dan Long. Tobias Rona has also gone around. Matt Beavis now up the position. Bart Zweering in 4th. Steve Legale in 5th. Ollie McGowan holds on to 3rd. Matt Beavis is back onto the circuit. Tobias Rona just behind. Dan Long is still running around, but he seems like he's had a quite hefty amount of damage. We saw the camera trying to track him and suddenly it just stopped dead. We know that's never a good sign. That car's probably heavily damaged. But here comes Rona trying on the outside of Matt Beavis. Now it's back to this battle between Rona and Beavis. Before Beavis went off, Rona was stuck behind, but now it's sort of stuck around. Steve Legale in 4th position trying to get past Bart Zweering for 3rd because Ollie McGowan is down to 7th. So Ollie has had some sort of mistake, and now Steve Legale battling for a podium. We saw Steve actually get a podium in the 2nd position, in fact, in the DTMs on Sunday. Can he get another podium? Here, he's really improving lately, and I really don't think it's actually Steve racing, but, you know, let's pretend it is. Steve Legale in 4th position, still looking to get past, up into P number 3. Past Bart Zweering. Matt Beavis just behind in 5th, and Tobias Rona in 6th. Quick look down the rest of your field. Looks like there aren't too many battles. Nicholas Gregory, Jesus Monteseus. That's a battle for 17th. It seems like that's really your only other 2 drivers that are relatively close at the moment. But this battle for the podium is crazy. It's just constantly changing as Bart Zweering drifting the car massively over the crest. It's not going to get you through quickly, but apparently it got you through cleanly. And Bart Zweering is going through. Steve Legale all over. Oh god, he's got Matt Beavis all over his rear. So he's going to have a lot of pressure here. Runs slightly wide. And Beavis now all over the rear, looking to get through. He's going to move to the left-hand side. Can't do it. He's going to stay behind into the 3rd to last corner. Penultimate corner. That's where I think Matt Beavis is going to try and make his move. If he can just force Steve into an error. Look at that wide entrance that Beavis has done. Look for the tighter line. It seems to have worked. He's really got back onto the rear of Steve and looked like he's got a slightly better exit. Not too sure. Steve is still looking to get past Bart Zweering, but here comes Matt Beavis. No, he drops out. Doesn't want to go for the outside line into turn number 1. We've already seen Beavis attempt that, and he's run off. But, oh, Zweering got to the glass. That was a slight wobble as well from Beavis, but here goes Steve Legale up to P number 3, and now will Beavis be able to get up into P number 4 past Zweering? Doesn't look like he is quite able to at the moment, as he just goes a little bit too deep. And running extremely wide there. Tobias Rona right over the rear once more. Bart Zweering now down into P number 4. As they head up once again. Looks like we have a few cars still relatively close to each other in the distance. But they're not as close as these battles going on up front. Steve Legale in 3rd, leading Bart Zweering. Zweering leading Matt Beavis. Matt Beavis leading Tobias Rona. Your 2 race leaders though, Joachim Sesses and Dino Pavanelli, they've just really, Dino Paolini have really started to pull away. As Zweering now looking to get past Legale, and you see the different racing lines they're pulling, trying to sort of catch each other out. And oh, a big slide from Zweering. That's how he lost the position in the first place. This time he looks like he's trying to use it to get back through. Still all over the rear, and look at that much tighter line by Matt Beavis behind, and that very much could be the start of an overtake here. Again, a big slide by, oh my word, can Zweering hold that? Yes, he can. Keeps it all together. Comes up through the final corner now, and this is what I was saying in practice. These cars, the rear end does just want to really kick out on you. And these drivers are doing a fantastic job of holding it. Look how close though. Matt Beavis is going to look to get past Steve Legale. Does the switch to the right hand side. It'll be inside of the hairpin, but he's just squeezed out. Steve Legale not allowing him absolutely any room at all. As Beavis is behind Legale. Oh, Legale makes a mistake there. Sorry, Zweering, sorry, makes a mistake. That is not Legale. I've been saying that wrong. Steve Legale obviously in 3rd position. It's Zweering that's under attack, but here comes Tobias Rona. Are they going to make it 3 wide heading up towards the corner here? No, Rona sits it behind. He's pushing Zweering along. He's dropped off really early there. I thought he was going to try and get past Beavis. There's contact between Zweering and... oh no! There was contact between Zweering And Beavis, Tobias Rona caught out. Slid the car completely. He's around, and there's a little bit of contact between Dan Long and Tom Watts as well. They're going to want to keep it as clean as possible. They are both drivers of MK Sim Sports. So they probably are talking to each other on a private channel right now, and that's probably not what they want. It's a little bit of contact, but Tobias Rona coming back onto the circuit there must have really caught them out. Ollie McGowan back up into 6th position with this now, but Steve Legale is starting to pull away in 3rd. Bart Zweering a little bit of breathing space, but Matt Beavis now has got Ollie McGowan to look forward to. If McGowan can catch up and start to attack here. We are now halfway through this session, 10 minutes down, 10 minutes to go. We head through into turn number 1. Goes Ollie McGowan. There's someone off just up ahead, but it looks like for the most part we are clean. We do have a retirement. Liam Lagan out of the session. There's a big slide from Sergio Santis. He goes around. Oh, and backwards into the hay bales. He gets it back going though. 2 races, of course. You don't want to leave early. You want to stay in the session. You want to gain as much practice as possible getting into the 2nd race. Stephen Gibb looking to get past Thomas Smith there. There may be an overtake very shortly for that. That's for P number 13 at the moment. And you can see they are a lot slower than our race leaders, but by no means is that a bad thing. These drivers, it's all about learning, and these cars are definitely one to fight, so you don't want to push it too hard. They definitely know what they're doing. Thomas Smith, though, looking to defend. Steve Gibb is through. But will he be able to hold it? Under braking, we see so many people lock up. Keeping it nice and smooth, though, and you can see their rear ends aren't really kicking out. That's because they are going a lot smoother. They aren't attacking the throttle. They're just learning the car. They're learning the track. Go through. Nice and cleanly is that battle for P number 13. Tobias Rona down to 12th. Another issue for him is, I'm just looking through, it seems like our big battle now is this battle here for P number 7. Tom Watts leads Dan Long, who leads Ryan Seltzer. And you got that the 3 cars are really close proximity, and they haven't got too many cars just up ahead. There's someone just gone off and someone around, and that's a position gain. That's Bart Zweering. Bart Zweering is around. Dan Long up the position, plus Tom Watts now up through the hairpin. Tom Watts now down to 7th. Dan Long up to 6th. Ryan Seltzer's just looking at this battle that's going on ahead, looking to get involved, but not gonna get involved too much straight away. As you can see, the 2 cars just up ahead battling. Tom Watts, Dan Long. Dan Long's going to hold the inside. Tom Watts is going to look for the switch back though, as Long just deeps a little bit too deep. And oh, and a little bit of attempt of a switch back again, and it's force Watts around, and no! There's contact. Tom Watts just slammed into Ryan Seltzer. Seltzer has lost his front wing. He was just an innocent bystander in that incident. Ryan Seltzer out of the session by the look of it. Look at that just again. Oh, I've got to watch that once more. This is from Watt's point of view. Look at that. Not what you want to see. Watt's still going around though. He is currently in 7th position, and that's sort of really separated as Dino Paolini is leading. That has changed. Joachim Stesnade has had some sort of mistake. He's down to 2nd, and quite a large gap between the 2 of them. If I must say so myself, Steve Legale is rather close to Joachim now. So Stesnade has some sort of issue. Steve Legale in 3rd. Maybe he has a chance at 2nd. Matt Beavis in 4th. Moving full way through. We're coming up to about 6 more minutes. About a quarter of the race to go. So looking at Amadeo Fiorella. It's really starting to take advantage of people spinning around the circuit. 8th position at the moment for him. He's doing rather well. Tobias Rona out of the session in the pit lane. Thomas Smith coming through. He's sitting in 10th. again taking advantage of people's issues. Jesus Montesinos in 11th at the moment. William Horak in 14th position. 13th position now, actually. Martin Fayela in 15th. It will be 14th, I believe. Danstan Farkhad in 16th. Sergio Sentis in 17th. We've got Horn Horbout, Ryan Salsa, Nicholas Greggy, and Liam Lagan also out of the session. Hopefully they'll be joining us for race number 2, which will be starting in 10 minutes time. Still 5 minutes to go of race number 1 though. And Steve Legale doing an excellent job, I must say. In third, as there's been some sort of issue in the background. Is that a back marker? Was that Ollie McGowan, who just ran wide at turn number 1? It was a white car, so I assumed it's Ollie. Sorry, not turn number 1, the final turn. Kicking up the grass. Not exactly what you want to see, but he's done it. And hopefully he'll be able to get that a little bit cleaner here. And keep on running around. In 5th position at the moment. Dan Long chasing him down in 6th. Will he be able to get any closer? I'm not too sure. Matt Beavis running in 4th. Steve Legale in 3rd. Like I said, it's absolutely amazing how well Steve's doing lately. I must really say. I mean, his consistency shown in the latest season of the RDGPC. He was showing great consistency. In fact, his consistency, along with his sons, meant that their team won the their team's championship, and that just shows that actually Steve Galley really is so as he says he is, and this just shows that he is a really good driver, really consistent driver, and actually this just shows a really fast driver as well to be in 3rd position. And actually I think the gap between himself and Joachim Cesnade is not increasing. If anything, it's getting smaller. So I think that Steve Legale is actually as fast as Joachim Cesnade. Now, you may remember Cesnade's name from the Race Department Le Mans Series by Vasaro, round number 3 at the Thrustmasters Le Mans, the 24-hour Le Mans, because in that first stint, Joachim Cesnade was driving TXL Racing's car, put it on pole position, and was leading. Well, there was exchanging positions, but come the end of his stint, he was actually leading as he goes around, Joachim Cesnade around. Steve Legale to 2nd, Matt Beavis to 3rd, Joachim Cesnade down to 5th, probably even 6th, Ollie McGowan to 4th. Joachim is down to 6th, because Dan Long up to 5th. This is amazing from Steve Legale. All he needs now is a mistake from our race leader, Dino Paolini, who is going just over the crest now. The gap probably about 10 seconds. Maybe 15. He just needs one big mistake from Dino Paolini in the final 2.5 minutes. And Steve Legale is going to win. But this is amazing. He took 2nd on Sunday in the DTMs around Norris Ring on Race Room for the most amazing events of the week. Is those Race Room Sundays. He took 2nd in one of the race in the race, sorry, the 40-minute race, and it looks like he's going to take a second in the 2nd race that I've watched him in the past few days. That's a fantastic stuff for Steve Galley. Can he actually take 2nd position with 2 minutes to go? Less than 2 minutes to go now, even. And looking through, Jesus Montesinos still trying to catch up to Thomas Smith. That's for P number 10. That's a top 10 position, and that's a nice place to be in. Coming through now over yet another class. That's what I love about Mid-Ohio. It's just such a tricky circuit to master, yet at the same time so much fun. Probably not in these cars. They do want to fight you a lot, but in the right cars, this circuit is a lot of fun. If you want to get involved in these races, then be sure to head over to racedepartment.com, become a premium member. Only €10 for the entire year. You can take part in daily club events and all of the big sims that we do our events on. So our Factor 2, Assetto Corsa, Race Room, and on Automobilista. Do daily club events on them, and also we do league events on them as well. So it's really worth just €10 to get involved in racing like this. We're still watching as most. Oh, whoa! Montesinos keeping his heart down below his throat there. Keeps it all together and gets past Thomas Smith. Doesn't even vary from his racing line to avoid the spinning Smith. Up to 10th. But now Thomas Smith is all over the rear. And now they're heading up towards... This is up towards the turn number 6, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 7, but it looks like Smith's starting to drop off a little bit now in that battle. As we're into the final 15 seconds, Dino Paolini on the final lap of the race. This has been a really nice, clean drive. Joachim Stesnade, who was in the lead after the opening lap, after an amazing start from 3rd, currently down in 7th. Paolini has kept it together though, kept it consistent, kept it clean, kept it fast. And looks like he will be taking the win unless the pressure gets to him on this final lap. Really shouldn't though. Steve Legale, again, amazing drive. 2nd position by the looks of it, he's going to be able to pull home. But what a driver, Dino Paolini. First session I've actually seen him. I never raced against Paolini. I've never commentated for a driver named Paolini. So if this is his first ever event, I know we do have a number of new people racing with us tonight. This is just fantastic for Dino. So he's coming up to the final 2 turns now, keeping it nice and tight, puts it into the middle of the circuit midway through the turn. Keeps it tight for the exit into the final corner and the final turn. Dino Paolini is going to win race number 1. Session is over. Checkered flag is out. Steve Legale now coming up to cross that line also. As he comes across the line. Steve Legale takes 2nd. Matt Beavis going to come and take 3rd. Amazing there. Ollie McGowan crosses the line in 4th in the end. Tom Watts across in 5th. 6th position to Dan Long. Joachim Stesnade will take 7th in the end. What a race that was though. Really, that was absolutely fantastic stuff. Doing some donuts up there. One of our drivers. Everyone's coming across the line now. That was an amazing race. Dino Paolini then won the race. Steve Legale came home in 2nd. Matt Beavis crossed the line in 3rd. Ollie McGowan in 4th. Tom Watts finished in 5th position with Dan Long in 6th. Joachim Stesnade in 7th position. Steve Gibb in 8th. Amadio Fiorella and Jesus Montesino round out your top 10, 11th position, Thomas Smith, followed by William Horak, Bart Zweerink. I cannot read that name because it's so small on my list. I will read it there though. Daston Faroxad in 14th, Martin Fayela in 15th position. Sergio Sentes finished a lap down in 16th. Tobias Verona, Horn Horbelt, Ryan Seltzer, Nicholas Gregory, and Liam Lagan. There your finishers there, all DNFing from the session. As we are about to get going, I think everyone has now finished. And we are going back into the warm-up session. So, just going to be doing that. I am going to take a quick breather because my throat hurts from that race. So, I will be back very, very shortly. Hello everyone then, and welcome back as we are just about to get ready for the second race of the evening. We have a second race just about to get going. Qualifying order relatively the same to race number 1, depending on who has left the session, because I see we are about 2 or 3 cars short from what we were in race number 1. Tonight's going to be an interesting second race, because that first race, there's definitely a lot of battles up front, and then just sort of one incident led to a chain reaction that split the entire field up for the final sort of 5 minutes of the race. But hopefully we can keep a really close, clean race for the second half. The second race, sorry, not second half, the second race, which everyone will be getting going once again. And we have about 40 seconds until drivers will have to get onto the grid for the start of this event. So Dino will probably be looking to replicate what he was able to do in race number 1, which was take a very easy victory, with drivers making mistakes all around him. Steve Legale actually able to get that second position. We'll be looking to maybe replicate a position like that, or definitely get high up the order once more, depending really on where other drivers are, whether they make mistakes. I think Steve Legale definitely is in really the position where he's fast enough to get into a top 10, maybe even a top 5, but it's when everyone else makes mistakes, Steve really shows his consistency and allows him to gain up to positions. Checkered flag is out then. We are at the end of the session, but we will be going green very shortly for the drivers to get onto the grid for the start of the race. And we will be going green for race number 2, a second 20-minute race.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
That's exactly the words you want to hear, because that means we are about to get going, and I want a nice, give me a nice starting camera. These are all crap. Where's the starting grid? That's a really bad one. There we go. What's my zoom in button? There you go. Look at this. I remember my controls now. As we are about to get going. Drivers should be on the grid now. There we go. Lights are counting up. Marshal the green flag in the top box. And we are green all the drivers away, hoping for a cleaner start at the rear of the field this time. And no, we got a couple of cars onto the grass. Hopefully it stays clean from there though. And it looks like we have, and we're looking at the wrong car. We got someone stopped on the field though. That's very strange to see. Dan Long though comes out on top at the front of your field. Joachim says that he's going to be trying his hardest to get back through. Can't quite do it. Gonna have to sit it in behind at the moment. Side by side, Steve Legale and Tom Watts. Watts trying to hold the outside line. Can't quite do it. As Dustin Falk said, now moves away from your starting grid. Dan Long leading Joachim Stesnade here, as it's still 2 by 2 near the rear of your field. This is much closer than it was in race number 1 as they swarm towards the camera. And you lead, Joachim's having to hold on to second. Fiorella's done an amazing start in 4th, but moving down to 5th. Your race leaders are still side by side. Dan Long able to hold it. Dino Paolini under attack from Fiorella. He's doing an amazing job this second race. Fiorella in 4th, Bart Zwiering in 5th. Behind Steve Legale trying to defend from Tobias Rona and Matt Beavis. Rona's up the inside, very close. And Beavis just not able to go anywhere. Looks like it's remained a lot cleaner than race number 1. They definitely learned. Matt Beavis though going to get past Tobias Rona. He's now up into P number 8. Rona down to P number 9. Just up ahead, Bart Veerink is going to try around the outside of Dino Paolini, because Amado Fiorella is up onto that podium spot. He was having some issues in race number 1. Must have been involved in an early race incident. But here comes Dino once more, looking to get back through into turn number 1. Can't do it. Has to sit behind for now, holding on to P4 in the motor race at the moment. You're leading 2, really pulling away, and off goes Bart Zwiering. He's going to spin back onto the circuit, and he's going to collect Matt Beavis. who's then in turn collected Tobias Rona. No, unlucky for all of them there. Bart's rearing really shouldn't have tried to hold that the way you did. Tobias getting the car off the circuit, trying to get it back around again. Matt Beavis looks like he has given up with life there, sitting at the chicane. Simeon Olizirenzik is coming around here. Looks like Matt Beavis may have some sort of rage quit mode enabled there, and it looks like he's just got up from his PC. Dan Long, though, in the lead. He's got Joachim Stesnade all over the rear. This is a great battle already in the opening stages for the lead of the race. Now, in last race, the race leaders, definitely leading two, were starting to pull away from each other. They weren't really having a battle, but Dan Long leading Joachim Stesnade. They're doing amazing, but no, Joachim goes around. Joachim goes around. He's down. Mario Fiorella now up into P2. Dino Paolini to P3. Tom Watts to P4. Steve Legale up the position. Joachim Stesnade down to P7. As Ollie McGowan goes through. Ryan Seltzer looking for recovery after he, in race number 1, he was taken out, unfortunately, in that unfortunate incident over the crest at the chicane. Steve Good running really wide there. Ryan Seltzer not able to capitalise on it. Looking further down, it looks like Matt Beavis still just sitting at the side of the circuit. I may have to do admin commands to kick him here, because that is really dangerous, and I am not allowing him to do that. Nope, there he goes. He goes off the circuit. I was just about to kick him from the server. But he will be getting a stern warning about sitting on the edge of the circuit, on the racing line, for some people at least. Sitting on the tarmac. I wouldn't have cared if it was on the grass, but the fact that he was sitting on the tarmac, it's not exactly what you want to see. Battle going on between Steve Gibb and Ryan Seltzer for P number 8, but that battle for the lead has separated because of Joachim's spin last lap. Dino Paolini still on the rear of Emilio Fiorella here. But here comes Ryan Seltzer up the position past Steve Gibb. Gibb's got nothing on him to hold that move. And he's going to have to drop it down to 9th. I don't know whether he'll be able to gain back through, move up a position at all and back up into P8. It doesn't look like he will, and he's going to have to stay in P number 9. Ryan Seltzer will be looking to move up the positions. Tom Watts all over the rear of Dino Paolini. Dino Paolini all over the rear of Mario Fiorella. What will Paolini do to try and get through? Can't do anything, but he's still got Watts still trying to get through behind. This three-way tie now for P number 2 in the race. Interesting development, not something I would have expected. Oh, as off goes Fiorella, gets it back onto the circuit. Drivers moving out of the way to make sure they don't hit him. He's now down to P number 4. Watts up to P3. Paolini to 2nd. If he can just pull away from Watts, then there shouldn't be too much of an incident, and he might be able to start the catch up for Dan Long as well. Tom Watts looks like he's going to have to hold on to P number 3 at the moment. Emilio Fiorella just behind in P4 after the issue out of the final turn, looking to gain back up some positions, but it looks like he's not going to be able to. Steve Legale in P5 will be looking to hope that the 3 drivers in front of him will make some issues and between themselves, and will try to get up the order back into a podium position. He's made 2 out of 2 in the races that I've seen so far in the past couple of days for him. Dastin Falcasad moving up to P14 after not moving off of the original grid. We have about 3 retirements out of the race already. Dan Long heading around in the lead of the session. Dino Paolini in 2nd. Tom Watts 3rd. Emilio Fiorella 4th. Steve Legale in 5th. This is your closest battle. Watts sliding it over the crest. Drivers keeping it rather close together here. We're coming up to halfway through the session. All these drivers, they know it's now about consistency. That's certainly how Steve Legale got the podium last time. They'll all be trying to, instead of push position immediately, I'll be trying to go absolutely balls to the walls, if it were. That was a 136.3 that lap by Tom Watts in our P number 3 position. Chasing down and trying to get back past Dino Paolini. And that's a huge accident! A huge accident from our race leaders. Gone off. Come back on. In I don't know what happened. We're going to have to watch a replay of that. Dan Long It doesn't look like Dino has discovered not much, but he's clipped the apex, gone into the wall, hit the hay bales, the solid hay bales. I don't think he was expecting that. Luckily, it looks like Dan Long, the only driver affected by that. Dino may have some damage to the front end of his car, though. And that may be affecting him now to try and pull away from Tom Watts. But Dino once again into the lead of the race. Tom Watts in second. Amelia Fiorella back into a podium. On to P number 3. Steve Legale now has that podium position right in front of him. Instead of having to get past Fiorella and then try to catch up to a podium, it's just sitting food right in front on a plate, being handed to Steve. Will he be able to take advantage of it? Who knows? Tom Watts, though, looking for the lead. Will we see any sort of disadvantage come to Dino Paolini following the huge accident with Dan Long at the end, at the start of this lap, sorry. Coming up to the penultimate corner. What on earth is Tom Watts doing, trying to get up the inside like that? But he's actually been able to make it work. He's going to try on the switchback, can't quite do it. Looking for a faster exit. I think that was a mistake that led to the start of that. Continuing around, I think we'll see he's into the lead. Tom Watts up the inside into the lead of the race. Will he be able to hold on to the circuit? He does. And it definitely looks like Dino has got some sort of aerodynamic damage. He's going to try and retaliate. Back through the chicane, can't quite do it. Dino Paolini down to second. This is fantastic. Tom Watts in the lead of your motor race. Amelia Fiorella's been tapped from Steve Legale. Fiorella was on a much wider line. Steve Legale trying to get up the inside. Fiorella probably didn't realise Legale was there. He's just been collected. I think that was just 2 in a 1. Just don't go. Ollie McGowan in 5th. Looking to gain up the order, but in your race lead. Tom Watts back under attack. Dino Paolini around the outside. Somehow he's done it. Dino Paolini back into the lead of your motor race. This is absolute fantastic stuff. Paolini leading in the number 44. Tom Watts in the number 22. Back down a second. Still trying to lead this race. I don't think that Dino has got any sort of hindrance to his car following that huge incident with Dan Long. Tom Watts in second position once again. Following the contact, Steve Legale has lost a lot of time to that podium position. Dan Long running around without a front wing. And it seems like he isn't losing too much time. In fact, I think he's gaining some time. So I can see why we're not seeing any sort of damage or any sort of disadvantage to Dino Paolini. But when he still has his front wing, yet Dan Long is running around without a front wing. He still seems to be doing nice lap times. A 1:37.3. Still a respectable lap time indeed. Dino, though, leading Tom Watts. We're on board with Tom now. Coming up to the hairpin, you see a much tighter line taken by Watts there. But Paolini, see a lead of your race, doing an amazing job there. So I'm just spamming buttons here. That's not what you want to do. Tom Watts will probably be looking to get back past the lead. We'll stick on board for now. See if he's able to catch any slipstream up towards the major braking point here, following the long straight. Slightly on the brakes. No, nothing. Not able to do anything there at the moment. Looking back through your order, we have a nice little battle here for P number 9. Thomas Smith just ahead of Steve Gibb. In 11th position just behind Martin Fiala trying to get involved. Three-way battle here. Steve Gibb, though, going to get up into P number 9 past Smith. He's going to go for the inside. Late braking. No, can't quite do it. He's going to have to sit behind for now. Coming up over the crest now. Number 19 of Gibb trying to do a much tighter line there. Not able to make it work. Heading up to the final sector. He's still really close. Martin Fiala just sort of hanging back, hanging behind these guys. Maybe looking to get an advantage for some sort of incident. We've obviously seen a number of taps and scrapes here, and it loses quite a bit of time. This battle for P number 10, rather close. Just going to have a look elsewhere. At the moment, Dustin Faxas going around near the back there. So we do have a number of cars out of the session, but is that battle for P number 9 that we're going to be looking at? Thomas Smith, he's got Steve Gibb and Martin Fiala all over his rear. That's not something I'm used to saying, but does. Coming up through turn number 1. And he's going to be able to sort of lead these cars through. They're not battling as hard as the race leaders that we've seen them battling, but they're sort of just trying to keep it consistent, hope that the other driver makes the mistake. That's really the way you're going to gain up the field, definitely in these handful of a car. Out of the hairpin then, and Smith is starting to pull away already. So he's doing a really nice job there. Up in a battle for P number 6, Dan Long. He is losing time without a front wing. He is, so he's definitely dropping down a lot of time here, and because of that, Ryan Seltzer, RDGPC Season 5 champion, is in with a chance of getting in a top 5 very possibly. He's looking to get past Dan Long for 6th. Might see an overtake very, very shortly indeed, as that was a lock-up there from Long, and Seltzer would have seen that and now be looking to gain as much advantage from that as he possibly can. Heading out, Dan Long doing a weird line to get as close to the wall as he can, or at least try to break the slipstream between himself and Seltzer. Coming through turn number 1 now. And off goes Long. Here comes Seltzer to try and get around. Can't quite do it. Long hasn't lost a lot of time from that, but that's obviously how Long spun in the first place. Coming up now through the hairpin. Keeping it really close together, doing a really good job at doing close proximity battling, and that's what I have seen. I mean, there has been those few incidents, those few taps and bumps, but in the whole scheme of things, they're doing really well. This is not an easy track to master. It's an easy track to learn, but not an easy track to master. Ryan Seltzer trying around the outside of Dan Long, though. And the car with the front wing outdoes the car without the front wing by the look of it coming out. But no, because Dan Long is going to stick it. Dan Long is going to be able to hold it there. Back through up the inside. Maybe pushing a bit too hard, but no, he holds it on the track. He holds P number 6 ahead of Ryan Seltzer. Absolutely fantastic there. We are coming up to the final 5 minutes of the race here. It looks like Dino is going to take both race victories. Ryan Seltzer still all over the rear, though, of Dan Long. Can't believe Long was able to hold that. That was fantastic. I mean, he is really disadvantaged with not having a front wing, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. It seems to only be affecting him on the straight line. When it comes to the corners, it seems like it's not affecting him absolutely at all. It looks a lot like a Formula Ford. It looks like is running around when you look at the front of that car. Look at that, it's just a Formula Ford going through the corner. But anyway, Ryan Seltzer chasing down Dan Long still. Will he be able to get into 6th position this lap? He's going to try up towards chicane already. Or is he just trying a different racing line? He's trying a different racing line. Maybe to show Long, I'm in your mirrors, buddy. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. A little bit of a lock up there, but Seltzer trying to avoid some contact with Long and trying to avoid being 2 cars without some front wings. Heading along now down the long straight. Seltzer will be getting as much slipstream from Long as he possibly can. And it looks like he's going to pull out a slipstream very, very early here. And he's already side by side. Once again, he's forced to the outside of the right-hander. Under braking. A little bit of a lock-up from Long. And that's a big slide from Seltzer. And there's a tap. Somehow he's been able to hold it. Not lost too much time there. In fact, it looks like he's actually still been able to close up quite well to stick with Dan Long. We're just going to... Oh, as Long pulls away. Pulls out of the way there. Not too sure why, but look at that again. It was just catch the end of it. Fantastic. But Dan Long has allowed Ryan Seltzer through. Do you think maybe he's now been told that he doesn't have a front wing? Not too sure, but Steve Legale is up on 2. P number 3, he's been able to make it past Fiorella. And now Steve Legale looks like he's going to be able to take yet another podium here. With 3.5 minutes to go. That's about 3... maybe 2 or 3 more laps remaining for Dino Paolini. Somewhat not too far behind in 2nd position, but I don't think it's going to be enough for him. Looking continuously down the order. The battles have definitely come to a close now. Currently, we have only 12 cars remaining in the race at the moment. But it's been an absolutely fantastic race by this guy here, Dino Paolini. 2 races tonight. He qualified on pole, and now 2 races that he's absolutely just flown away with it. I mean, the 2nd race, yes, Not as easy as race number 1 that was just gifted to him when Joachim made a mistake. This time, race number 2, it's been a lot harder than that. We had to wait for Joachim to make a mistake, for Dan Long to make a mistake. Got collected from a big whopping accident with Dan Long. When Dan Long just kicked the hay bales, it threw him back into the path of your race leaders. Well, Dan Long was originally in the lead himself, and that was a real shame to lose the lead. He's still in the top 10 though, so he's still racing, which is fantastic. Without a front wing, but he's still going around. Dino Paolini though, he's just come out. I don't think I've seen Dino make a single mistake. Every time we've just gone to watch him, he's running it smooth. The car's just not kicking out as much as I've seen it with other people. If I didn't know any better, I'd be calling him an AI, but I know they're banned from the server, so it's an amazing fact that Dino's been able to keep it so clean. I'm not saying that it's impossible to keep it clean. We know drivers who are able to keep it clean for long periods of time. Steve Legale being one of those drivers, and we've seen he's been able to keep it together. Not this race, he had that one incident, but other than that, a tap with another car, he's not actually made a mistake himself, which just shows that drivers can do it. It's just depending on how fast you are. It shows what position you'll come out in the end. And Dino Paolini, not only is he a fast driver, he's a really consistent driver as well. Into the final 1.5 minutes of the second race tonight. If you want to get involved in these races, be sure to head over to racedepartment.com. Become a premium member today. It's only €10 for the entire year. Absolutely nothing when you get to take part in daily club events on a variety of our the simulators that we race on. You also get to take part in league events, which come around quite often, including our Race Department Le Mans Series by Versailles. We obviously just had the Thrustmasters 24 Hours of Le Mans, and yes, it was a real 24-hour race, where some drivers I know drove about 9 or 10 hours themselves, their team taking in the remainder of the session. So it's not too bad for the club events and the league events, and they're a lot of fun. These are Factor 2 events, only one per week, but they are definitely worth joining. We've also got a number of really good events. We've got the Formula 3s tomorrow in Automobilista. That will be streamed as well by our lovely Jim Nubs. He'll be bringing you the Formula 3s tomorrow. And then on Sundays, of course, Race Room Sundays. My favourite events of the week. That's the fantastic racing we see there. And also Race Room is probably the easiest to broadcast on, or the most beautiful looking as well. But we are on the final lap of the race here. Dino Paolini is going to take 2 of 2. Following a pole position in qualifying. This is fantastic. I've just been told Matt Beavis not rage quitting like we assumed, which is why I was going to kick him from the server, because I thought he just like stood up from his computer. Why not? But no, I've tried to restart the car, and these cars are a handful to restart. I have to turn the ignition off multiple times, turn it back on again, and get the starter all kicking around just to get these started. And it takes about 13-14 seconds for them to finally kick into life, and the moment you slip off the clutch just a little bit too early, they're dead and you have to do it all again. Dino Paolini though into the final sector, and he is going to come across to take 2 of 2. The second race certainly not filled to the brim with accidents like race number 1. However, the couple of accidents we have had have been huge. One accident taking out both Tobias Rona and Matt Beavis, and that was by Bart Zweering. And the other accident, Dan Long slamming into the tyre barrier, slamming into the hay bales, and then slamming into this guy here, Dino Paolini. Tom Watts finished in second. Steve Legale takes another podium. Amadeo Fiorella finished in 4th. And in 5th position came Ollie McGowan. What a race that was, though. It's been absolutely fantastic, these 2 races tonight. Left-hand side, they are your race results. Your top 12 finished. The rest all retiring for some reason or other. Damage or just the car not wanting to restart. What a races, what a couple of races it has been. Like I say, we've got the Formula like I say, we've got the Formula 3s tomorrow. They are certainly ones to watch. Jim will be bringing you that, and that will be around Monza. Do you know what? I might race in that myself. I'm not too sure. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight. And because my desk has literally just collapsed in half, I need to go fix that. Thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.